Hi Junior Rangers, it's Miss Kate here with you today, and we are going to take a look at some different types of pollinators. But first, what exactly is a pollinator? Pollinators are animals that help flowering plants reproduce by carrying pollen from the male part of a flower and transferring it to a female part of the flower so that it can produce seeds. Pollen is what helps create more flowers and is only produced by the male flower parts. Some pollinators include bees, butterflies, wasps, and moths. But did you know that birds, bats, beetles, and some flies are considered pollinators as well? Let's try to find a few examples here at Smithwood's Butterfly Garden. Bees are one of the first insects people think about when they hear the word pollinator, and that's because they do a ton of work to help pollinate plants. Some even call bees champion pollinators. Bees and even wasps need pollen and nectar from flowers for survival, since pollen is a main source of protein for them. They have very high energy needs. For example, a single honeybee can visit 5,000 different flowers in just one day. Bees even have excellent color vision, so they tend to flock to yellow, purple, blue, and white flowers. Butterflies are another group of insects that many think of when they hear the word pollinator. They aren't as productive as bees are, however they are still as important. Most butterflies prefer flowers that are shaped like large landing pads, while others, like the swallowtail butterflies, can nectar in rapid flight like hummingbirds. These larger butterflies can obtain nectar from long tubular flowers as well. Moths are members of the same family as butterflies and therefore have similar needs. They need nectar for energy. Moths are nighttime pollinators, so we don't normally think of them when thinking about pollinators. Moths prefer flower clusters or ones shaped like landing pads. Visiting flowers in the dark, they are attracted to strong, sweet, scented flowers, muted in color. Insects that we overlook when thinking of pollinators are beetles. Believe it or not, beetles were one of the first pollinators over 150 million years ago. They are responsible for pollinating over 240,000 flowering plants around the world. Beetles may not do the amount of work that bees and butterflies are able to do, but they remain essential pollinators today, especially in tropical regions. They are important pollinators for species such as magnolias and spicebush, which we have growing throughout Burlington County. Beetles prefer flowers with lots of pollen, dull, white or green in color, with stronger odors to attract them. Hummingbirds are the most familiar nectar-feeding birds in North America. Unlike nighttime pollinators such as moths and bats, hummingbirds like flowers that are bright and open during the day and have little to no odor. Their diet is made up of 90% nectar. Although bats that live around us here in New Jersey are beneficial mainly for eating biting insects, in tropical regions of the world, bats are actually great pollinators. These nocturnal flying mammals are attracted to flowers that are white or pale in color, large in size, and have a strong fruit-like fragrance. Bats drink the nectar inside flowers, picking up a dusting of pollen and moving it along to other flowers as they feed. They are also the primary pollinators of several cactus species. Last, and maybe least, are flies. Although flies tend to be annoying, if it weren't for fly pollinators, there would be no chocolate from cocoa tree fruit production. The benefit of fly pollination is underestimated. There are more than 100 crops that depend on regular visits from these guys. Of course, flies prefer stinkier flowers that are pale, dull, or drab in color. Without pollinators, at least 80% of all plants on Earth would not exist. People are generally afraid of and will not tolerate an insect with a stinger on it, but these insects generally do not sting unless their hive is threatened. Bees pollinate plants that give us fruits, vegetables, and nuts. Honeybees and native insect pollinators have been declining rapidly in recent years. We simply cannot continue to kill beneficial insects just because we are afraid of their stingers. Our lives and the lives of all living things depend on them. The more people that know about beneficial insects, the better. I hope this video helps you realize that there are many more pollinators than you think. Although bees and butterflies are important, so are the overlooked insects like beetles, wasps, moths, and flies. Now, get on out on a nice sunny day and see how many different pollinators you can find.